All right, guys. So today we're gonna have more Jesse Lee Peterson. Today we're gonna talk about does white privilege exist. We're gonna go into it. He's being funny. He's being funny. He's a funny guy. So let's see what he has. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's go in.
Does white privilege exist?
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely.
And where's the proof of that?
All around. I tell people often
All
now,
around.
in hindsight, one of the things that I wish I would have been more cognizant of was the white privilege at UCLA that was sitting, right next to me. For Black people, I believe white privilege is something to leverage.
What is it though? I don't see it anywhere. What is it?
Huh?
What is it?
How don't you
For
not
people
see
like
white
me who
privilege?
don't see it.
How do you not? How do you not see white privilege?
Because it doesn't exist. That's
Yes,
what
it does.
So what
there's
is it
some
exactly?
things. I believe white privilege is just the ability just to be free and white and not have the same type of social, economic, and social ills as Black people have to deal with. I mean, there's no white racial profiling. White people don't get pulled over by the cops just because they're white. They have the ability to, show emotion and love to their sons without being emasculated. There's all kind of examples
That's
of
amazing
white privilege.
that you
Yeah,
believe
that's
that.
amazing.
Why don't you Black? How come you don't believe white privilege exists? What you see?
Well, because I am Black in color, but I don't have that dark mentality that most Black people have.
Clearly.
I see, she said clearly, I see that white people have the same struggles and things that we have in that
What type of
they have
struggles
to
do they
make their
have?
marriages work. They have to make their children, help their kids grow up in the right way so that they can earn a living and be independent.
But they also have the majority of
They
their
make
fathers
kids,
at home.
Right,
We don't
and the
have-
reason for that, it's starting to change somewhat now, but the reason for that is because they are taking responsibility for that, whereas Black men and women are not taking responsibility for that as they did prior to the Civil Rights Movement.
Something that I noticed is regarding the civil rights movement is that a lot of things happened during that time, right? During that time, before and after. It's like that 1960 was a crucial date where things were different before clearly, but it's like 1960 as soon as it was 1960 the Civil Rights Act started passing, like this thing went down somewhere that I don't even know where we're heading. It's crazy. It's crazy, especially when you see the graph regarding the birth rate, and you see the 1960 birth rate to the next couple of years, you can see that thing just going down, down. Now, of course, we're talking about white privilege, but it does correlate. There's something happened in the 1960s to what it is today that is still going down, and we don't know how to stop it, or we know, or we don't want to do it.
Black people are blaming it on
What do you guys
their
think?
lack of self-control and self-containment. They're blaming it on white people, while white people are working hard to keep it going.
I do
for
believe
themselves.
that there is a need for Black people to be held more accountable.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that doesn't excuse racism, that doesn't excuse institutionalized racism, that doesn't
See,
excuse
all
But
these
there's
words.
no such thing.
There's all these words that we cannot really grasp. Like where, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna grab these words? How are we gonna grab these things? See what I'm saying? Like I'm just trying to figure out why the racism and the institutional racism of all these things that we cannot reach. Right? I can reach for something right now. If I want, I can reach for this bottle right here. Right? I can reach my microphone. See, I can control these things. But when it comes down to these subjective words, it's so far to just reach. But they mention it a lot. See, that's the thing. They mention it a lot. And then it becomes something.
Yes,
I might be
it is.
crazy.
It's an illusion
It is.
made
No,
up
it's
by
not.
Black people
Yeah,
and their
see?
leaders.
No, it's not. It exists.
Well,
Sorry.
where's the proof of it, though?
What do you mean, where's the proof of it?
There are many kids who are getting into, Black kids who are allowed to get into these universities around the country, right, based on affirmative action.
Yeah, that's
And,
true.
because of affirmative action based on their color. That's discrimination based on color, and that's wrong. And these kids are getting in, but they're not earning their way. So when they fail, they feel less than before they were allowed to get in based on color.
I'm a proud product of affirmative action. When I went to UCLA, it was because I was an affirmative action student.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And I think I turned out fantastic.
Oh, he did it straight, man. He just said it straight up.
fantastic. So a lot of my peers who were having challenges getting into some of these predominantly white institutions, the affirmative action was great. My father went to.
But what is affirmative action? Is you cannot do the test without help. I'm just trying to figure out, folks. So if there was no, so you're telling me, hear me out, folks. If you're telling me that if there was no affirmative action, you would not be able to get in, that's what you're saying. I don't know. I'm just asking questions.
Harvard, you know, I mean, he was one of very few blacks.
Was he affirmative action person?
I don't know if he was. That was back in the late 60s.
Well, then he wasn't. He earned his way.
So, that being said, I still believe that
Ignore the statement.
affirmative action helped me get into UCLA, and it gave me access.
You would
and
not
exposure.
have gotten in there on your own because you were not smart enough?
I don't know if I wasn't smart enough, but based on the curve and what I was competing with you know, other individuals who had different educational opportunities and teachers. I mean, I'm coming from, you know, the LA Unified School District. I mean, so at the time, I think LAUSD was still pretty good. But I went to all white schools from high school.
No, so when I noticed it, when you saying all white school, are you wearing that as a bachelor honor? Bachelor honor? My bad. Are you? Well, what is it? If you're wearing that as a badge of honor, what's the reason for it? You want to have more status in the conversation or more credibility when you talk? I don't know.
So you got a good education. Why couldn't you get into the school based on your own talent?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know. Maybe because I didn't have some of the opportunity.
But you
first
had
of all,
the
Oh, that's a good question. She didn't like that.
Well, first of all,
You had the same
SAT,
opportunity those white kids were having.
Not necessarily. I had different teachers. I had different
So you
resources.
went to a white integrated school,
I'm talking about
mostly
going
white.
into these other into UCLA. I still had to be able to deal with some of the issues and going to predominantly white schools.
Like
but I
what?
still had to be able to compete.
Like what?
What do you mean, like what?
Some of the issues going to a predominantly white.
I would graduate from University High School, and at the time they didn't have an African American student union.
An African American student union?
At the school.
Well, that's a good thing.
They didn't have one.
That's a good thing.
Why?
Why do you need something like that?
They have Asian student unions. They have Jewish student unions. They have all kind of different.
Did they have
student
white
unions.
student union?
They need student union. They own the whole school. So
But the kids didn't own the school. The kids didn't.
But I'm saying there's nothing. I don't think there's nothing wrong
It's
with having
amazing that
a
you think this
segregated, population of students who just want to study
God,
together,
has me
work
confused.
together, or to be able to.
Would you
deal
be in
with
support of a white student union?
Yeah, of course.
It would be okay with you?
Yeah, why
Okay.
not?
But most blacks don't feel that way.
I think all cultures should be able to segregate and to be able to work with.
Ooh, segregation. So we're talking about segregation now. Okay. All right. So, oh my God, it's just these conversations are having my heart hurting because I don't know.
In their cultures
It's weird.
and network within their own cultures. Absolutely.
Does racism exist?
I believe racism does exist.
And where's the
absolutely.
proof of that?
You just see it all over in the country. There were proof of it. In terms
What-
of just the,
what do
the
I see?
disproportionate in the economics with black people.
But that has nothing to do with racism.
It does. Racism is about power. It's about who's in control.
There we go. See, this is how I told you folks about wizardry, right? So this is the wizard that I'm talking about. So now it's not hating or thinking that you're better than our race, right? No. There's no evidence for that, right? In a mass scale. So now we have to put something else. That something else is now power. You see what I'm saying? So now because now it's power, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to add something else. But whatever the word meaning was carrying doesn't matter anymore because it's something else.
And black people can't be racist because we're not in control. We're not in
Wow, they
control
cannot
of
be
the
racist.
educational system, some of the
That's
social
insane, bro.
organizations and things that run this country. We're not in control. Racism is about power.
But you would
What
be in
race is
control of your own life if you had good parents, if they taught you how to be independent, if they taught you how to build, how to take care of. I've noticed that the reason I left where I lived over there in the Crenshaw district is that once the white people left, because once I moved there, when I first moved there, it was mostly whites. But once they left, as they did in Gary, Indiana, and other places, the blacks turned it into a ghetto. A beautiful area went to hell in a handbasket, so I got out. But if
That's
blacks
crazy.
had more character and they were taking care of themselves and being responsible and buying land and teaching their
But that
children,
has to be taught.
then so that has nothing to do with racism.
But that has to, of course, that has to be taught.
So it's not racist. It's not white people's fault that you're not teaching your children to do that.
No, but it's not.
Is
If the
that true?
parents don't know.
They
If the
don't know.
parents
Oh,
accept-
so who we gonna blame here? Let me calm down. Let me calm down. Who are we gonna blame here? Who? Ask the government.
That's
I
not
guess.
the
white
parents
people's
don't
fault,
know.
though.
The system.
But if they go into some of these institutions, these predominantly white institutions, they are targeted. They don't have the same opportunities because of their color. It's true. I mean,
So then why go in there then? Why not go to all black school if you
some
feel
people
that?
do choose to do that.
I'm sorry?
Some people do choose. That's
Well,
why
why you see a lot of
that's
these
a good
black
point.
kids going to these white universities, and then they force their way in by saying, I need affirmative action. Once they get in, now they crying racism. Why do you want to force your way in with the people you think are your enemies, and you're still complaining once you get there?
I don't think people are forcing their way. Does
They
affirmative
are.
action
Affirmative
even
action is
exist now?
forced based on color.
Does affirmative action even exist? Are people getting in based on affirmative action?
Yes.
Today,
Otherwise, they wouldn't be there.
The way Trump has it down, he's just leveled the playing field. So it is going to have to be more about being able to be competitive.
Hallelujah.
I don't know what to say, folks. I don't know what to say.
They're not earned.
I don't know what to say. I don't think these conversations are genuine. I really don't. I don't see the end game here. What's the end game? You want power? You want the entire country? What is it you want? That's what I'm just asking questions because it's confusing. I might be ignorant in the topic, but I really don't see the purpose of just keep crying these things, right? When the community is falling apart. And it's very hard, very sad to say. It's very sad for the reason is that we need this community to be revived in the sense of strong structure. And right now I don't see that happening, but the reason is because the high amount of kids being born out of wedlock is too much. It's over 70%. That's too much. That is too much. You cannot build a nation like that. And this is where I'm starting asking questions like, what's the purpose of all this? It sounds kind of weird. This is a little bit of a Matrix thing coming out. I'm just going too deep into this maybe. But when you start grabbing things along, it's like small proxy wars going on when it comes to a topic like this. Yeah, listen. I went to college. Nobody gave me anything. I just worked my shiitake off, and nobody gave me anything. And I didn't need no Hispanic union, none of that stuff. I tried in Wyoming, and I didn't fit in. I was not feeling it. See what I'm saying? And I just, met a couple friends, whoever it was, Asians, white, black, whatever. I just, I did what. If you were cool, we good. If we have the same values, we cool. And then all of a sudden, I grew up on those things, man. I don't need validation for nobody. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. With this, I will see you in the next one.